Look at these other podcasts out here with a point. Doing interviews, trying to educate you, or change the world. No, we don't do that here. Here, we look around, see things, go places, do things, and round up the best so you can forget the rest. Here, we rank 'em up.
Hello and welcome to Rank 'em Up. I'm Craig, joined by Kevberto, Don, Pablo, and Lilo. We'll be joining you every week because we make lists. That's what we do. In our everyday lives, we categorize, we organize, and we prioritize the daily things that we do. And here we're going to share with you that minutia that we go through just for our own laughs and giggles. So today we're going to talk about cartoons. And I have a good idea. Who should go first here? Who has played a video game most recently?
Does this afternoon count?
This afternoon?
All right.
Some of us have jobs.
Right.
I have 2 jobs, all right, but I get a little break, a very small break. And, well, when we talk about the video games, which I think we're going to be doing a show on that very soon, you will hear a lot. And so there's, like, daily things that you have to do. And since I knew we were going to be recording for unspecified amount of time tonight, I said, you know what, I'm going to do my daily activities in the afternoon. So I did that.
Can anybody beat this afternoon?
The most recent I did was last night from 11 to 12:30. So
Does Candy Crush count? Does Candy Crush count?
Candy Crush counts for nothing.
Puzzle and Dragons? Anybody?
You were playing Hearthstone on your
I was playing Puzzles and Dragons. I'll admit it. That was this afternoon. I don't know. Maybe I have you beat.
That was after I came to work too.
We'll count you first.
Fine.
So let's go ahead and rank them up.
All right. Start at number 5. It's hard, man, because I think every list was hard just because I would do like a spitball, and I would write down, all of them in this particular subject, and then, I would try to go back. And number 5, it was part of a block. When I was a kid, they would watch every day on Nickelodeon, and it would be another one it gets an honorable mention, Tailspin. That would be second, but the first would be DuckTales, Scrooge McDuck, and the Nephews. That's just my thing. I say DuckTales, and then they made a movie out of it, a full budget, full feature movie, which I begged my mom to take me to.
I had a hard plastic DuckTales lunchbox when I was in elementary school.
That's boss.
Nice. I like DuckTales. It was a good show.
I think I saw that movie that you were talking about, where they went to like Egypt or something.
Yeah, Treasure of the Lost Lamp. And
Yes.
I just always wondered if it hurt when he dove into that money.
Every time.
You would break your face. In real life.
Yeah, right?
Legitimately.
All right, Kevberto, let's move to you. Number 5.
Number 5 is, so I grew up in a very Christian household, I would say. So
sheltered environment.
very
We all have very different backgrounds, which is why this show is going to be great, because we all have different life experiences here.
Yes, and it was extremely sheltered environment. Therefore, I'm going to say I saw a lot of Arthur. Arthur, number 5.
Arthur?
Yes.
The aardvark?
Yes, the aardvark.
AARDVARK.
Exactly, that episode. All that. What do you want? Yeah.
Wasn't Aardvark's sister's name DW?
Yes, 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 it was.
W?
Did that stand for anything?
Darkwing.
Dora.
No.
Duck, man. Darkwing Duck, another character in the DuckTales.
I think it was Dora Winifred.
So Arthur was just a complete throwback to Darkwing Duck. Winifred?
Yeah. Winifred. Dora Winifred. I remember that episode. Sorry, I mean, PBS.
This is a name you don't see. You don't see that name very often, Winifred.
No.
Huh. All right, Arthur.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Arthur.
Let me tell you about my number 5.
Yes.
It's not a show I saw very often, or I haven't seen that many episodes of it, but it left a lasting impression. It was in my older years when I saw it. I might have been a grown-up. It might have been a couple years ago. I think it only lasted 2 seasons also, so nobody else watched it. But I think it was on NBC's Saturday morning. I don't know, it was a couple years ago. But it was called, well, I won't give you the name yet, but basically here's the premise. There's 5 superheroes. They might be pieces of food.
Oh, wait.
That have come to life and have special superpowers.
I feel like I know what this is.
They might be pieces of sushi.
What?
They are. It's called Sushi Pack.
Sushi. All right.
I don't know if you've ever heard of it. I don't know if you ever saw it.
Heard of it?
I was thinking Veggie Tales, but
I was thinking VeggieTales too.
No,
I'm
no,
like, that was on NBC.
no. Sushi Pack. 5 little tiny pieces of sushi were superheroes. I can give you what they were. One was an orange salmon. It shot fresh eggs from fish eggs from its hands. The pink
That
crab.
seems wasteful and very terrible.
The pink crab
Shooting
had
babies.
pigtails, and they were pinchers.
oh, all right.
The purple tuna, it was telekinesis. It levitated. Its psychic powers. The blue octopus was the leader of the crew.
Okay.
It had a British accent. It was the leader. Had a British
Right,
accent.
because any sushi with a British accent is completely legitimate.
Not only that,
Doesn't make any sense.
not only that, but it had an eye patch.
Speaking the Queen's English. He was a pirate.
Yeah.
It's like
A pirate sushi speaking Queen's English.
And guess what he
That
did?
doesn't work at all.
He squirted ink.
Awesome.
And the 5th one was a little green wasabi, and he shot fireballs.
That's awesome.
But he
That would be
was
my
a silent character. No, he didn't speak.
He just came in and shot
Did
fireballs.
he have a name?
He did, but I don't remember. I think it was wasabi.
Was he the enforcer?
He was the weird one that just got into trouble all the time. So my number 5 is Sushi Pack.
Nice.
Lilo, please.
All right, so I'm going to go completely in a different direction here. So, being of Asian descent, it is my duty to watch anime. It's not really so much a duty as it is my birthright. Although I am
It's a calling.
It is a calling. It's like it's part of our DNA, so much so that it's basically like rice. So the number 5 cartoon of all time for me had to be Neon Genesis Evangelion.
What'd you say?
You got it. Neon Genesis Evangelion.
And you didn't watch Sushi Pack.
Yeah. How is that?
Well, okay, so giant robots will always beat British octopi sushi bits.
I don't think you've watched it.
I don't think I need to.
I think I know why your show only lasted 2 seasons, Craig, because
I
it
think
didn't
so
make
too.
any sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please tell us more about this.
Yeah. So Neon Genesis Evangelion was probably one of the best anime series ever. It was really violent. There was a lot of really overstated and understated religious tones to it, but the writers and creators were like, nah, psh. There was no overtones to it. It was just a simple show about robots. That's all it was. Lies. They were all lies.
What was the name of it again?
For those in the back, Neon, like neon lights, Genesis, like the Bible, and Evangelion, which is like a derivative of evangelization, but not
But more robotic.
at all. But more robots. It was robots, all right? Robots. Come on.
Interesting.
All right, let's go to our number 4s.
All right, my number 4, and it's controversial because from now on there's going to be, it's hard to rank. You got to be different reasons that you have it. But I went with The Simpsons, the longest running primetime television show in the history of television, 1989 to present, and they keep coming back. And they actually renewed for 2 more years, so they're going to be around at least until 2017. But when we were kids, The Simpsons video game at the Nicola Play over here on off of Iliff. I would go in there and play that for hours. Just Bart Simpson. Like, you grew up in it was like growing up, man. When I was young, you idolized Bart Simpson. Then you get older and you don't idolize Homer Simpson, but you're like, he makes me laugh. So there
I
you go.
too like donuts. So
Yeah.
Homer Simpson.
I don't see the problem. I mean, he was just a guy bad at his job, and but every character has his genesis. Barney the drunk, he got cleaned up and he became Mr. Plow. I'm sorry, Plow King. Homer was Mr. Plow. He was Plow King. And, just many different episodes. They have the whole Halloween show that people are fans of. Those aren't my favorite, but they do those in there in the 20 whatever of those episodes, and they do marathons on FX just of the Halloween shows and House of Horrors. And last year they just did. I think it was 2 weeks of Simpsons episodes, or all they did was play Simpsons episode on FX. And I check in every now and again because 2:00 in the morning, Simpsons marathon is not the worst thing in the world. But Simpsons, obviously they had great voices. Hank Azaria, Dan Castellaneta, who's a great voice actor, and just a bunch of people. Conan O'Brien was a writer for there, and he went straight from there to having the Conan O'Brien show. Wow. So you think about this: Dana Gould, many luminaries in Hollywood, got their start on Simpsons, and yeah, still going strong. Well, maybe, and they're making another movie. By the way, they had movies. They're making another one, and
The last movie, I didn't like that one.
the one
I
with
like
the dome.
Yeah, I like The Simpsons. Everybody likes The Simpsons. You can.
Yeah.
It's fun to watch the old Simpsons and see how they've changed.
Yeah.
Every time there's one old one on a replay, you're like, whoa, that looks totally different now.
And
But-
you get different jokes, and you're like, oh, that's funny. I didn't get it when I was a kid. I don't
time
remember
period
that part.
jokes, yes.
Right. I always thought it was fun with The Simpsons how the early seasons, Homer was actually mildly intelligent. Like, Homer could actually
Right.
make it through the day, and at the end of the episode, he would sound very smart. Like, he knew exactly what he was talking about. But nowadays, he's just a complete idiot.
Can I just give you a couple of my favorite episodes really quick? Number one, Flamin' Mo, when Mo invents a drink and everybody loves it, and all it is cough syrup added to beer, which it doesn't sound good, right? Like,
I'd try that.
Like, what is that, purple drink? That's to Gatorade, right? But beer, going all the way with beer and cough syrup. I don't think that mixes. And then the one where Homer gets on disability, just gains the weight enough to get on disability, and he almost causes a meltdown, and he almost falls into the reactor. That was pretty much my favorite one.
All right,
Right there.
Gilberto, number 4.
Number 4, Hey Arnold. It was very, I was growing up during this time, so I related to the playground. I related to I grew up in a very diverse school and neighborhood, so everybody talked about it, everybody saw it, and so Hey Arnold.
I don't know if I remember that.
Bonded over
Football
Hey
Head.
Arnold.
Yeah,
Yes.
Football Head. I never watched it. I always saw, like, the commercials for it because my parents never had cable.
Yeah.
So Nickelodeon was always one of those things I always had to watch at my friend's house because, yeah.
All right, my number 4. Let me tell you a story how I get to my number 4 here. At my house, we always had the Finger Hut catalog. The Finger Hut. You remember Finger Hut? It was like a catalog like a Sears catalog that just had random stuff in it that you would buy. And my grandma loved the Finger Hut catalog.
Awesome.
I would always circle stuff I wanted and never get it. But someday I was hoping that somebody would see the thing circled and order it for me, right? Well, I circled
It was like a retro Amazon wish list.
Yes, exactly.
Was it like Sky Mall?
This is before the internet. This was the year of our Lord, 1985.
Dang, man. Dang.
So,
For
yes.
Amazon.
Wow.
So I circled on this catalog. I circled some VHS tapes of Looney Tunes,
Nice.
and my grandma bought these VHS tapes. It was like a 5 VHS catalog of Looney Tunes, and each individual videotape was only cartoons of one specific character or series of characters.
Oh, dang.
So there was a Bugs Bunny one. There was
Nice.
Roadrunner?
There was a
Roadrunner?
Roadrunner one.
I'll be all over
There was
that.
a all kinds of the
Daffy
different
Duck.
characters.
Sylvester is. Sorry.
Yes.
Stealing your
That's okay. No, that's all right. I was letting
I'm
you
trying
go.
to think, man. Those are my favorite. I love these.
They were great.
But
They were
was
great.
Pepe Le Pew like a side player, or did he get his own tape?
I don't know because the only tape I watched is my number 4. It is the Roadrunner.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And
yes,
I
yes.
watched
yes.
that VHS, that 130-minute VHS over and over and over, and I never rewound it. And every time I wanted to watch it, I had to wait for 20 minutes before
Yeah,
it to rewind.
That's
Or I
why you
would
got to
just-
be kind and rewind, man.
No. Or I would just watch the last episode because I would get impatient, and I would just push play at like 4 minutes into rewinding.
Did you get one of those automatic rewinders they had? Remember
I
those?
didn't have
Little
those,
cars?
no.
The little cars with the lights.
they-
Like they had
Oh,
at-
yeah.
Like they had at Blockbuster, because for the people that didn't rewind, you put
Exactly.
it in the thing.
Yeah.
No, my
They
number
used to-
4.
remember they used to charge you?
Roadrunner.
I'm sorry. They used to charge you if you didn't rewind at the video
They
store.
did. That's
Kids will never understand this. Like,
Yeah.
go to Redbox, just bring out whatever DVD for $1.
That's right.
Yeah, they'll never know the saying, please be kind, rewind.
Exactly.
I don't know what that means.
By the way, the rental store by my house, they put the NR movies right next to the new releases, like underneath actually. So I'd be like, Dad, this is not rated. We can watch this, right? And he's like, No, put it back. I swear, like not rated, right? That's cool.
There's no bead curtain or
We're good.
anything.
Yeah, that would
NR,
never
that
happen.
stands for new release, right?
Exactly. That's what I thought.
Anyway, number 4, Lilo.
Number 4 for Lilo. That's me. Okay, so I had a hard time. I'm gonna say this. I had a hard time making my list because I grew up and I loved cartoons. I loved cartoons to the point where at one point I wanted to be an animator growing up. Like I drew a lot of stuff and I wanted to animate things. And then I realized that my drawings were terrible and they would never add up to anything. So I just watched a lot of these cartoons. It went from like traditional American stuff, and then yes, my number 4 is going to be anime. Spoiler alert. So I have never stopped watching anime. I took breaks from watching anime. So my number 4 is actually one that I stumbled on. I want to say maybe like 4 months ago on Netflix. It's this one called, ready? Kill La Kill.
Kill La Kill.
Kill La Kill.
All right.
I'm going to go ahead and also say that if there are any children listeners for this, because it's cartoon related, do not watch this one.
Gilberto, you're not allowed to watch it.
Dang it. Dang it.
Yeah, sorry, Kev. It's not. It's definitely not for kids.
With a name like Kill,
Yeah.
Right.
La Kill.
But what's funny is that it's not because of the violence. There was the violence was okay, is pretty toned down, but it was more like the weird semi-nudity that would kind of pop in. So I would be watching this on my iPad while my wife slept next to me, and I would look at my iPad full on, and then all of a sudden, like some crazy sequence would happen where suddenly there were very little clothes on. I'm like, oh no, and I'd have to like tilt my iPad on the off chance that my wife would wake up and catch me watching this. Like, what are you watching? Nothing, honey. Go back to bed. It looks like no. Don't worry about it. No, shh, don't worry about it. So yeah, Kill La Kill. It was really cool. It was it caught my attention simply because the art style of it was really incredible. It was very edgy, very hardcore looking, very sharp lines. And there was the primary weapon for the main character was half of a pair of scissors. And everyone fought over clothes. It was very first world problems.
There's no swords.
Shanks in cartoons.
The scissors were actual swords because it was massive. The half of scissors were as tall as she was.
It was like the scissors they used for ribbon
yeah.
cutting.
Yeah, like the cartoonishly large scissors. Yeah, that was her weapon. Yeah,
sword.
it was fantastic. Yeah, definitely not for kids.
All right, number 3, Don.
All right. I went this way because, I feel like there's some characters you just relate to. And if there was any cartoon character that I would relate to, it would be. And by the way, Bill Murray, my favorite actor / comedian, Gilberto and me have a feud about Bill Murray because Gilberto doesn't like him for some reason. He's insane, but whatever.
He's not
That's
funny.
for a different show.
We'll argue that on some other show.
Very
Right.
funny. He's a Mount Rushmore comedian. Thank you. And he voiced this character in two movies. And it's just everywhere. It's everywhere. They got the side characters. I just related very well, and that would be Garfield. And he did have a show from 1988 to 1994.
I remember watching that.
I remember watching that too.
Yeah, and it would have other. I can't remember the other cartoon they would play with it. It was like in the Animaniacs, they would have Pinky and the Brain. Garfield had something like that, but I forget the other characters that were in it. But anyway, doesn't matter. So Garfield, my favorite. Also, our favorite lasagna-eating cat. John, the owner, who was a dummy, and then Odie the dog, and that was my favorite, man. And it, I don't remember exactly when that would come on or when I watched it, but I remember just liking it. And to this day, and by the way, I went to see both those movies in theaters with a lot of children.
That is dedication.
Yes, it was, and I was trouble. It was like 3 years ago when I went to see the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie. I wasn't thinking to do it on. I should have done it like Tuesday morning. Dude. I got a lot of Tuesday mornings off. That was a joke. But anyway, there's a lot of kids there, and I don't like teenagers. Whatever. So, and I like to yell at teenagers a lot.
Who doesn't like to yell at teenagers?
Exactly.
Come on.
We can blame everything in the world on teenagers because we gotta listen to Taylor Swift. You ever been to Texas Roadhouse? They play the music way too loud, and the people there don't like. They know who Taylor Swift is because their children like Taylor Swift. They don't want to listen to it. Look, I'll tell you this right now: Einstein Brothers Bagels, best music choices as far as restaurants go.
Would you say you have bad blood with Texas Roadhouse?
Would
You know
those
what? I
Band-Aids
do.
heal those bullet wounds?
No, I just want them to turn down the music so I can hear the people. So I can hear the people talking to me.
Don, just shake it off.
Yeah.
By the way,
You know what?
I have one more thing on Garfield. Hold on. I got one more thing on Garfield.
The haters are going to hate.
Yeah.
Hate. Hate.
Einstein Brothers bagel. It's a solid product. It really is. And the only issue I have with them is you can't make a proper Arnold Palmer iced tea, and that makes me very upset. So if I would say, let me bring my own lemonade in there, and I'll have some iced tea and lemonade, and I'll make a proper Arnold Palmer. But we don't want to talk about the quirks of Don really quick. Odie the dog. Have you ever seen homeless guys that have dogs?
Who hasn't?
Okay,
Right.
So I feel like
We
those
drive
guys.
on Parker and 225.
Right. I work downtown, so when don't I see a homeless
Well,
person?
ever since Denver legalized marijuana, homeless has gone up 120%. But whatever. Obviously, the effects are going to happen from that. So I feel like homeless guys have the best named dogs. All right? Odie the dog is not even the best I've heard. Odie, somebody named this homeless guy in Fort Collins named his dog Odie. And by the way, homeless people in Fort Collins, whatever. That's a different show. Best name I ever heard. A homeless guy. We were walking around downtown and stopped at a hot dog stand or something, and this guy was begging, and he's like, "Can you get some scraps for my dog, Bob Barker?" He's like, "Bob Barker, come here."
Yes. Did you give the dog scraps? I totally would have.
I did. I gave him a bite of
Nice.
hot dog because I felt bad because I'm like, the dog is put in this situation where he has no control over anything. The homeless guy, obviously, whatever. We're not debating politics here yet. So, yeah, Bob Barker and Odie.
So Garfield.
Bob Barker.
Garfield, solid show. Thank you.
There's a,
Gilberto, you're next.
now I know why there's a reason why I didn't like Garfield, because Bill Murray, I don't know, he had a lot to do with it.
How dare you?
I'm serious. So as you know by now, and I think this is gonna maybe explain the reason why I am the way I am. I related a lot to hold on, my personality. Hold on,
strong
hold
statement.
on,
Wow.
my personality, and I related a lot to Doug.
I love that. I love Doug. I love
Doug,
that. First of all,
Patty Mayonnaise, Skeeter,
Skeeter, man.
yeah, Quail Man. Doug.
Peter had some skin problems, man.
Yes, he did. I grew up in a diverse
Everybody
community.
knew that.
Right.
So, everybody
Right.
knew
So
that
you
was in high
it just
school.
was right.
Yeah,
It felt
yeah.
right.
Yes, it did. So, Doug.
Can I say this? Doug made the jump from cable to network TV. How many shows do that? Not many.
Not
so,
many.
especially Nickelodeon, like Saturday morning, he made the
Right.
jump to the network. So I'm sure that was a nice paycheck for the animator.
It's usually the other way around, right? Where you go
Yeah.
from network to cable.
You hope that you get picked up by some network or Netflix now.
Right.
Are we on three? We are on
Yes,
three.
we are.
We're on 3.
All right, let me give you my 3. Back in my day, we had some pretty awesome superheroes. We had some pretty cool pet cartoons, but there was only one show that combined the two so awesomely that it's on my list. There was also characters, as you watch it as an adult, I go back and look at it and I'm like, man, this is still awesome. So it was hard to make this mix of this list, picking cartoons that I like now versus cartoons that I grew up with. How to balance that. This one, solid choice for both. I'm talking about Thunder. Thundercats! Oh!
Craig, you're my hero.
Thundercats was awesome. Cats that were superheroes that saved the world, that had special abilities. Lion-O was awesome. Chitara was awesome. And
Yes, awesome. That was the word I was thinking of as well.
Snarf, everyone's the most annoying cat in the world. Even he was cool too.
He was cool.
My number 3,
Nice.
Thundercats.
You know what, Craig? I fully and wholeheartedly support your number 3 because had I remembered Thundercats, that would have been on my list
Yeah.
too. But sadly, it did not. And actually, as in terms of like honorable mentions, you remember the show Silverhawks? This one's going
No,
deep,
I don't remember.
deep. Like you had to be like face deep in a Saturday morning cartoons to know what Silverhawks is. All right, all you listeners out there, Google Silverhawks and prepare to be blown away.
Wow.
It's like take the idea of Thundercats, put it in space, and change cats to birds.
Dang.
Whoa. Oh, I think I do remember that.
Yeah, you know you do.
I do, actually.
It's epic. Okay, so
So you're up.
Okay, cool. My number 3, and again, I'm gonna pull way back for this one. Deep in the annals of Saturday morning cartoons, there was a show called Mask. I'm getting a lot of blank stares. Even in the booth,
What
getting some
attracted
blank
you?
stare.
What attracted you to this show?
It wasn't with Jim Carrey, was it?
No, it wasn't that kind of mask. This was way cooler than Jim Carrey's mask. So okay, mask. I feel funny because all of my shows, hopefully my last two will like resonate with some people. But so Mask was this show where it was a tactical group of, I guess you could call them like covert agents of some kind. They all drove vehicles of some nature, and as they were driving in the vehicles, they would come into, conflict of some kind. And in order to address that conflict, they would put on specialized helmets inside of their vehicles. And as these helmets turned on or came onto their head, it would transform the vehicles as well. So the vehicles, like the main leader, would put on his helmet, and it would turn his vehicle into a plane. And that was like the coolest thing ever. I always wanted a flying car, and if that was going to be the flying car that I was going to have, I would die a happy person. So Mask.
I vaguely remember that actually.
Again,
like
Google it.
Close.
85 to 86, 75 episodes.
Yes, 75 glorious episodes.
It did get syndication, so there you go.
Yeah, it was
Good job.
awesome. I love that show, man.
There's a 18-wheeler too, like a big rig trucker on the logo.
Now that I see that picture, I totally remember that show.
I had a toy. It was an F1 racer, and it had two switches in the back. One would launch little missiles, and the other one would like pull out little wings on it. Oh, so brilliant! It was the best.
That's awesome. All right, we're on number 2s now.
Number 2, my 1 and 2 were really hard to decide between. And anyway, so they both started in 1997, but there's a reason I went with number 1, but there's a reason number 2 is I feel like the people that make this transcend cartoons, and that would be Trey Parker, Matt Stone, and of course South Park. And I mean, look at the cultural relevance. They named a city in Colorado after it because there used to be a city way back in the 1800s, didn't exist. Now we have another South Park, although I think it's in Fairplay County. Most people call it Fairplay, but they have South Park, and they have a South Park High School now too. But I don't think they're the Cows. But
that would be awesome if they were.
Right.
If you're gonna do it, you might as well do it.
Might as well go big.
I have 2 issues with South Park though. One is actually, well, we'll get to the good stuff still. Everything to do. I didn't like really watching musicals, and I still don't like watching musicals. But I watched South Park the musical, and a funny story is Will Smith's Wild Wild West movie was out the same week as South Park, and that's right when they said you have to be 17 to go to the movies. And remember, like, you can go whatever. They used to not care, and then they started IDing in '99 or whatever.
Right.
And so my friend and I feel like a lot of people did this. They bought tickets to Wild Wild West, and then they went to South Park. Me and my friend Reed were the only 2 people in the theater, and they go, and the guy comes in with his little flashlight thing, and he's like, "Hey guys, you guys buy the tickets for?" We're like, "Oh yeah, we're here to see South Park." And he's like, "Oh, because we didn't sell any tickets for the showing, but he let us stay, so that was lucky." But yeah, man, South Park. Everybody know who killed Kenny, right?
South Park is an iconic show. Everybody's seen it, and it's touched on cultural things and things in the news in ways that other shows couldn't. Probably because it's animated, and they were real trailblazers in that way. And even if you didn't like the show, you got to appreciate that they took stands on stuff like that.
Yeah, that's true.
But I'll watch anything they do.
Yeah.
Book of Mormon, anything those guys do, I'll watch.
We're on number 2. Gilberto.
We are on number 2, and this was one of my favorites because it was edgy for me. It was I would have to watch this sometimes away from when my mom was around because it was too strong for her.
The chancla.
Yes, I would get the sandal thrown at me. Animaniacs.
Animaniacs?
Yes.
Animaniacs?
Yes, it
Seriously?
was. I am serious
Dang,
because
man.
of Yakko.
What?
Yeah, when he would burp or when he would throw up or, be gross.
Wow.
I am serious. I am very serious. Animaniacs.
So you changed it when Pinky and the Brain came on? Or?
No. I loved Pinky and the Brain.
Pinky and the Brain.
They were it, man.
This is gonna be a great podcast.
It totally is.
Yeah,
Oh man,
Animaniacs.
I would race home from school to watch Animaniacs. My parents didn't care. They were just like, "This show is weird. I don't get it."
Did Ren and Stimpy come on right after Animaniacs, or was that?
No,
No.
that was
on
MTV.
cable.
That was on
Oh,
MTV.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you watched Animaniacs as an adult?
I haven't.
Oh, you need to.
I do need to.
They get funnier as an adult because then you pick up on all the little like social commentary and all the actors and stuff that they pull out. Oh, it's great. It's just brilliant writing.
It just opened up a whole new world for me. You know, it really did. So there you go. Animaniacs.
can be rude.
Jeez.
Speaking of MTV cartoons, that leads me into my number 2. I have a cousin. I'll name him. His name's Pokey. We grew up together. We did a lot of things together. We were always hanging out together. We lived not very far from each other. We in the same neighborhood. We would just hang out. We'd make slingshots with wood we found, sticks we found in the yard. We did all kinds of stuff. And in that time, there was a cartoon that we watched. We set our alarms to watch it. We made sure we watch it. And that was Beavis and Butthead.
Yes. You can't not watch Beavis and Butthead as a kid of the 90s.
This was in our formative years. We would imitate all the things they said. We would drive our families nuts. We would. It was such a. It was everything 90s you could.
Oh, it totally was. It totally was.
Me and my cousin Pokey, we would watch it and we would do everything, and it was awesome. Beavis and Butthead, my number 2.
Nice. All right. My number 2. So my number 2 and my number 1 actually. While that sounded really, really inappropriate, we're quite the struggle. This isn't getting any better. So I've swapped the two a lot as I was making my list. So and then I finally came with a game time decision, and this is my number 2. My number 2 is Transformers.
Oh,
The OG Transformers.
Yeah.
We're talking like exactly. One will rise and one shall fall. That was a terrible impression. I'm sorry, voice of Optimus Prime. That was awful. No, so I watched that show religiously. Everything from like the beginning all the way up to the movie that they released, the animated movie, which in like the first 20 minutes of the movie obliterated like every major character. And as a kid, I didn't quite understand, but as an adult, I was really torn up about it. I'm like, you killed Ironhide. How could you do that? Ironhide was awesome. You blasted him on the ship. And then everything after the cartoon, they had kind of like a second generation, quote unquote, where it was like characters like Hot Rod and other folks. I watched up to that point, and then anything after that has been crap. I'm going to take a stand and say everything after the original Transformers has been crap. Even the Michael Bay movies, while they were totally awesome, were crap.
If you changed Shia LaBeouf with any other actor, who would it be?
Any other actor.
Yeah. All right. Well, there you go.
No, I cannot stand Shia LaBeouf. I think that guy is like a little too full of himself. I think I would replace him with I don't know. It's hard to say. I'm going to stick with my original answer of any other actor.
I have a quick story about Transformers. That same cousin, Pokey, and I, when we were kids, we loved Transformers too, and we decided we were going to invent a Transformer.
Yes.
So we drew out plans on these little sheets of paper of a Volkswagen Beetle that was striped yellow and black.
Oh,
What?
We addressed Mattel or Hasbro, whoever it was, and said, "Hey, look at our design for this Transformer. You should check it out." We sent it in the mail, put it in an envelope, begged our parents for some stamps, put it on there, found the address somehow back before the internet. I have no
Nice.
idea
Yeah.
before we did that.
Right.
cold information.
Send it off.
Right.
We never heard anything. About a year later, we get a letter back that said from the company on company letterhead and everything. It says, "Thank you for your inquiry. However, we don't accept suggestions from children or any other people."
Oh, shit.
But then the next season, Bumblebee was a character on Transformers.
Really?
Yeah,
Dang.
a Volkswagen Beetle with stripes.
I think you got a case, Craig.
Yeah, I think that requires legal action.
Yeah.
I think so. We invented
We
Bumblebee.
know a guy.
Yeah.
We know a good.
We know a good lawyer.
Yes, we do.
Nice.
All right, that's my rant about Transformers. I knew somebody was going to bring it up.
I would
so
be
had to-
about
I
that.
did, yeah,
I
you know
could
what?
dig it.
I have that letter still, and I'll
It's
bring it.
amazing.
You
that-
should totally bring that.
it's amazing that none of ours have intersected yet. That's how hard this list was.
That's right. Now, it's time for our number ones. This is the Mount Rushmore of our cartoons. Please tell us who is your entry into the Mount Rushmore of cartoons.
Mike Judge is the first narrator, animator, writer that gets a second appearance on the list, and that'll be King of the Hill.
Oh, that was a good one.
Hank Hill, Dale, Boomhauer, Peggy Hill, Cotton, who was my grandfather. My grandfather was Cotton Hill. He said Nazis. My grandfather says Nazis. My grandfather was in the Pacific Theater. He still says Nazis. Like, Grandpa, that's not how you say it, man. You're from New Mexico. You're not from like Oklahoma or like whatever, man. The Midwest. Mike Judge. Oh man, it's just everything that Mike Judge does. I will watch. Craig said Beavis and Butthead. I didn't want to steal his thunder, but Idiocracy, Office Space. Like he transcends. Any kind of medium, and he does it. In Silicon Valley, he won awards for that last year, and he won a Best Director Emmy for that just last year. So,
I didn't know he did Silicon Valley.
Yep.
Oh, nice.
So that show, and that they're going to have season 3 with Craig's friend T.J. Miller, and that's the thing. That's the thing, man. So King of the Hill.
That's a solid entry, number 1.
Yep.
That is a good solid entry.
So propane and propane accessories. I'm sorry, quick story. I know it's not quick. So I worked at Panera Bread a long time ago. This girl I worked with was named Colleen Hill. Her mom, I swear, she said her mom was Peggy Hill. Her dad was Hank Hill. And I gave her crap about that every day for the rest of my life from Texas. Although he didn't sell propane and propane accessories. He did not do that. He was not a salesman of propane.
Gilberto, who's your entry into our Mount Rushmore of cartoons?
I'm going to bring in my culture. I'm Mexican.
I know what it is.
As a Mexican kid, you are, all you watch as, sports is soccer. So they are, you dream about being a soccer player. When you saw these cartoons, they're called Supercampeones, which is
That's
called,
the title?
That is the title. Super Champions. That's what they're called. It's about this kid who fulfills his dream.
Oliver Atom.
Exactly. Of starting to play with his little friends, and then he grows up and becomes a professional soccer player. So Supercampeones, I related myself to him also because, that was my dream. I didn't fulfill it, but,
Nice.
that was it.
It was a Japanese cartoon that was made into tons of different languages.
Yes.
Seriously?
It is worldwide known.
It crosses cultures because every culture has this cartoon, basically, but it's in their own language.
Yes.
Oh, that's
And,
outstanding.
Like in Japan, the main character is called
Champions.
somebody else.
Yeah.
Tsubasa.
Tsubasa,
or something like that. Captain Tsubasa.
Tsubasa.
Yeah.
Nice.
Spanish, it's Oliver Atom.
Yep.
I've seen it. It's a great cartoon.
It is a great cartoon.
Nice. I'm going to have to look that one up later.
You should. Yeah.
Campeones.
Yes.
Solid choice for your number 1. My number 1. This is where the wrinkle comes in, and this is where our individual backstories provide the context for our lists. Because I am a father, and now my son is of the age where he watches cartoons. And I get to relive all these memories again of the former cartoons and new cartoons that he watches that I either like or really, really don't like. Like
Dora the Explorer.
No, like Caillou. Caillou is the worst cartoon in the world.
Caillou's a chump, man.
Caillou is the whiniest little kid I've ever
That kid can't do anything for himself. We do not watch that in my house.
can't
My two
stand
kids
Caillou.
will never know Caillou,
Exactly.
ever.
We see Caillou on, we're like, nope, we ain't having that.
Right.
Anyway, so we like cartoons in common now, which is pretty cool if you're not a parent yet. That's one of the coolest things is to watch a cartoon with your kid and both enjoy it similarly. So for this cartoon, I enjoyed it as a kid, although I kind of had to hide it because it came out in the years when I was in high school, and you couldn't really like it because
Oh, I know. Okay.
I know what it
Because-
is. I know what this
it
is.
was a little childish, but so I had to hide my affinity for it. Nobody at high school knew, except for my first girlfriend who bought me a giant stuffed animal of the said character. However, this cartoon is Pokemon. It's Pokemon Indigo League. And I loved the stories. I loved all the characters. I still love that cartoon. My son, it was his first. He loves that cartoon, and we watched it all the time. Pokemon Pikachu. I had a giant stuffed animal Pikachu. Now my son has a little Pikachu that he sleeps with. It's fantastic.
That's awesome. You should have told me back in the day, dude. I watched that too.
I was a tough guy.
You were a tough guy in high school.
Couldn't do anything.
I would admit that.
Rugby player.
I was a stereotypical nerd in high school. Craig can attest to this. I hung out with a very limited group of people. Craig was kind of my end of the jocks.
And I dipped my toe into a lot of different social clubs, and
Yeah.
I couldn't put myself out there like Pokemon, but now I will because I have children that I can blame it on.
Right. Oh yeah, it's because of kids.
Yes.
Rank 'em up is healing. It's very
It's a-
therapeutic.
yeah, this
it's
is-
cathartic for Craig now. He's
is
getting
really-
things off his
right.
chest.
This is group therapy, is what it
I like it. I like it a lot.
is. Please, number one for
Yes.
you, Halilo.
Number one. Did you just call me Halilo?
I might have actually.
I will. Awesome. Props. All right. My number one, and this is, and it's only number one because I bought more of its merchandise than I did of Transformers. Like if I had way more money growing up, or if my parents had way more money growing up, I would have had way more Transformers than this show. Okay, so my number one, brace yourselves, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. Because
Turtles in a half shell.
turtle power. Because
Yeah.
let's face it, who didn't want an aquarium of turtles that gets mutagen poured over them,
The
and then
ooze.
the ooze, and then they get turned into freaking ninjas?
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
pretty
come
cool.
on, that's the best.
It's pretty cool.
So yeah, I will admit that growing up, I did own quite a few Ninja Turtle action figures. I think it was about 60 something, to be quite honest. It was a suitcase loaded up with them, and it was everyone from the main four to like really obscure characters like Pizza Face, who was essentially like a weird rip of Jabba the Hutt. And then I always wanted foot soldiers because I always needed things for my Ninja Turtles to beat
Yeah,
up.
they gotta break stuff.
Well, yeah, and I only had one because my dad was like, "You only need one, because that's all you can purchase. You only need one." I'm like, oh, okay,
One
Darn
foot
it.
soldier.
1 foot soldier. So he got like the beat down of his life.
Yeah, it's not Foot. It's the Foot Clan.
Right,
Not-
it's a foot soldier,
Yeah.
singular. But no, that cartoon was just incredible. I wrote stories about it as a kid. It like I bought the comic books, not the original comic books. I wanted the original comic books, but as a kid, you can't buy something that violent. And yeah, it was the best show for me growing up. It was very formative. I at one point wanted to be a Ninja Turtle, actual turtle, not ninja
Yeah.
person, but Ninja Turtle. Yeah,
Did you know they did a live show?
I did, and I wanted to see it.
I went to that live show at
Did
the
you
Denver
really?
Coliseum. Yes.
Oh my gosh!
Back in the Denver Coliseum. Yes, I went to the live show.
Where they all played instruments and stuff.
Yeah, and you know what? They did. Yeah, it was
They did.
awesome.
They all they were like a rock band. Right?
They were like a rock band, but then
Where
like,
did Donatello play?
they were rocking out, and then all the lights turned off. Just, and then Shredder shows up, and he's all, "I've locked the doors. You cannot get out." And then we're like, little kids, screaming. What are we gonna do?
Shredder's locked us in.
Yeah, the whole rest of the live show was how the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were gonna defeat Shredder, so we could go home again.
That's awesome.
That is really cool.
It was one of the greatest experiences.
That is fantastic. I do actually currently own all 3 of the original Ninja Turtle movies
Dang.
on DVD.
Vanilla Ice.
Yeah, vanilla.
Oh, yeah.
Come on,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
whole scene. Come on, you can't beat that.
Power.
I had that whole rap memorized at one point.
Yeah.
My favorite last story, my favorite aspect of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies, growing up and then as I got older, was the second one had a character named Kino, and Kino was like the token human who wasn't April O'Neil or Casey Jones or Vanilla Ice for that matter, or Shredder, or anyone who wasn't a Ninja Turtle.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway, Kino was played by a fellow by the name of Ernie Reyes Jr. I found out later in life that Ernie Reyes Jr. is a world-class Filipino martial artist. And I love that movie even more because I am Filipino. And I'm like, yes, Ernie Reyes Jr. is my hero.
All right, that wraps it up. That was our number one, our best cartoons we've ever had, our lists. Thank you for listening. It was fun. Thank you guys for joining us. Until next week, thanks.